oftentimes I feel it is through the uncertainty, the questioning, that discovery of the uncertain, that we really find out what we're about, what our nation's about, what the universe is about.
And a lot of us don't like to question things because I think we feel that people can put us in a box, but most importantly, we put ourselves into a box.
And in fact, Elia Kazan realized this about you. Lee Strasberg realized this about you. Strasberg even said, Bruce, you're not even going to be anything until you're 65.
Oh,
that was what he said.
He said that people wouldn't even know how good my abilities were, and I wouldn't be that identifiable until I was in my mid-60s. And the thing that I say the most to any younger people that come into this business is that you cannot be panicked because you're behind. You're never behind.
I have a note here. Don, he's a cross between Rod Serling and Leonard Cohen. Now, I don't
That's
know why I put
great.
those two down. And I put it down there because...
Those are two heroes of mine, so I really
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I wrote that down because when I see him,
fantastic.
I say, he's got this persona of Rod Serling, but the poetry of Leonard Cohen. And there's a line. This is from Leonard. Act the way you would like to be, and soon you'll be the way you act.
Do you know the name of the school teacher he was having the affair with?
I didn't write it down, but
Suzanne.
Was that from Leonard's song?
I always thought that she was a proto, that the year after she and Don were together, she'd probably be in the Village living with Leonard Cohen.
Oh, at the Chelsea Hotel.
Yes. On an unmade bed.
On an unmade bed. Oh, my God. In your life, and it reflects in your film, it's the working class guy or gal, you say, who succeed against all odds and make good.
I really believe that most of us have a gift, and it takes a while for us to find that gift.
But there's a moment you take of his face, and something seems to be going on in his eyes. There's some sense of epiphany Nixon's having at that moment.
Thrilled you caught on to that scene because no one ever talks about that scene, and it meant so much to all of us, the piano scene and the moment at the end of it, and no one else has highlighted that.
High expectations are sometimes the worst thing for a person to have. Not high desires, because you want to strive, but it's the lower expectation that sometimes makes you grounded and allows you to really push your performance, and you seem aware of that.
My biggest battle that I had was I came outside of myself periodically, and I always had to remind myself, you're good enough, your talent's good enough, don't try so hard. Let it come to you, let it unfold.
You always are putting people, dancers, and taking them out of their comfort zone. And there's something so deeply educational, and I mean that in a sense of wisdom, not like learning, but in a sense of wisdom, when one person is taken out of their comfort zone and forced almost to go into another zone.
I totally believe in that as a life philosophy, of get out of your comfort zone. I think that's what challenges us. I think that's what we're here on this planet to be challenged, not just sit back and think, oh, aren't I good at what I do?
There's also an interesting contrast between the ugliness of the situation and the beauty of what you're seeing. The beauty is breathtaking. I don't know how else to describe it. That contrasts so strictly with the brutality of what these people must go through to survive.
Early on in the project, one of the things that drew us to this genre and this world is a lot of times you see post-apocalyptic stories are very bleak, not only in the narrative but also the aesthetic. But what's interesting also, those two ideas kind of are reflected back at the two main characters. So you have Joel, someone who's lived in our world, that when he does go down the street, all he sees is death. And you have someone like Ellie that was born after this outbreak, and she goes down the street and she just sees the beauty.
The minute they take the fight out of the people, the society disintegrates. It's as if they have nothing to fight for.
That's a basic human need, is to have something to strive for and to work against. It has to do with sexuality, it has to do with survival, it has to do with everything we come into. We need something to push against, or we don't push.
Everyone else has their, I don't know, their idiosyncrasies, their inability to grasp onto the reality that they have.
I just know how nuts we all are and how insecure and sort of we're always running around and reacting and overreacting. And clearly women have that side of themselves too, but women, especially when I was a kid, girls were always so much more mature than we were that I always sort of looked up to women to kind of be the ones who were going to kind of be the voice of reason.
Each one of you were concerned with that. That's why I go back to that sense of hitting our chakras. You were concerned about that beat. You knew that if I kept the time this way, it would make that just a little different. And if you're not aware of it, you won't be aware of the difference. And the subtlety between one is where it all lies, isn't it?
I just love the chakra analogy. And the lower chakra is the pocket, and then there's the heart chakra, and then there's Jim's great intellect. I guess it's, yeah, all of them.
You even say it yourself, there's no one harder. I never find the expectations of others on me to be as much of a burden as my own, right? And that's, you yourself, no one's harder than on Chaka than Chaka.
Yeah, that's my motto.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, I'm using that as, I'm quoting you.
That's very true. But, you know, you want to make people happy, and you want to make people proud.
And it takes a long time to have that serenity, that you know things are going to work out.
Or to even have it for a few minutes here and there.
Oh, that's when I say I had the epiphany, actually, if I just get that for just a few minutes and hold on to it. Isn't it? It's amazing. And people, I know I run into people and they go, by now, you know, you've read every book that could possibly give you insight into this. It's nothing. It doesn't sit in there all the time. It just keeps flowing away.
Yeah, you know, I think for some people, the journey is about reaching the end, but for people like me, the journey is about the journey.
In all the shows that I've ever done, this has been the best, and I really mean that, because you don't get a chance to really talk about what's real, and this is a first for me.
Thank
you so much. I really am very fortunate to be here.
It's a very unique interview technique, and it's much more profound than you get in any other medium.
I have never had an experience quite like this. I mean, this discussion of the book has just been fabulous. You took it on such a level, and you talked about so many things that were so important to me. It was just great.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to know you, and I'm thrilled to know about your show as a result. It's just a gift that you give.
You're bringing people together to engage in dialogue, to promote understanding, whatever it is that their message may be, the need and the desire, the hunger and thirst for greater understanding of other cultures. It was an enormous pleasure to talk to you and just talk about other things that I think are directly related.
You know, it's so nice when you have somebody who's a really terrific person to talk to and easy to talk to, and you make your guests feel really at ease, at least me. I don't know about talking about your other guests.
I'm Barry Kibrick. Keep revisiting and looking closely between all the questions, and we will be what we want to become.